Hey, everybody, good morning. I need a round of applause to everybody in Chicago that's here, right? That's fabulous. Thank you. So for those that don't know me, my name is Stuart Schlossman. I'm president and founder of MS Views and News. Though this is not an MS Views and News program. This is a Yoga Moves MS program. And that's Mindy Eisenberg over there on the right, my right, your left. And she is the one that is responsible for wanting to do this event in this area for today. I want to thank our sponsors and our exhibitors. So giving you the name of our sponsors, we have TG Therapeutics, Biogen, Bristol Myers Squibb, EMD Serono, Horizon Pharmaceuticals, Novartis, Alexion, Genentech, Amneal, who's a new company that most of you have not heard about yet, and Banner Life Sciences. So let's give them a round of applause for supporting this event. Fabulous. All right, our next presenter is a local person. Her name is Joy Wagner. They're all local people, right? Joy Wagner, founder of fitMS NeuroBalance Center. Presentation is on what now, post-rehab and healthy lifestyle. Joy Wagner received a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the University of Iowa. She has practiced nursing and taught in the health field since 1982, changing her focus to multiple sclerosis, autoimmune, and other neuromuscular conditions after being diagnosed herself with MS in 2001. Determined to regain her independence, Joy developed a rehabilitation protocol for herself. She named this program fitMS in 2003 when she began teaching other MS patients at local MS facilities. I could go on and on with all these different presenters, but let's just get her up here and get listening, okay? Come on up, Joy. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So we told you a little bit about me. I'm Joy Wagner. I will be 63 years old in a couple of weeks, and I've been at this MS game in some fashion officially since I was 41, so we're talking about 22 years, and realistically since I was 23, so we're talking about 40 years. But I was diagnosed when I was 41. So my MS story, though, really starts when my brother, who was 29 years old, was diagnosed with MS. I was a pediatric and OB nurse, and when he was diagnosed, I did what all nurses do. I dug deep to look for the information that I learned in nursing school and didn't use after that, and I tried to learn more about what was going on with him and how I could help. A nurse's job, which is what I still say I am at the NeuroBalance Center, is to identify an unmet need and look for a way to meet the need. I started that about a year after I was diagnosed, and I was able to go back to work because when I was diagnosed, I couldn't stand or support myself or feed myself or things like that. And so when I went back to work, I decided to work with MS patients. And when I was visiting them in their homes, I was finding people who were isolated, who felt like their lives had been derailed. They were angry, they were depressed, and they weren't doing much. And they were sure they were the only one in this predicament. And maybe they were in that small group of people that they hung out with, the small group of people that they were exposed to. But I knew then that I had to introduce them to other people who were in the same boat, fighting the same battle, living with the same stuff. And so I took the rehab program that I developed for myself and I called it fitMS, and I put a little sign up, and 5 people came the first day. And the train left the station. And here we are 23 years later, and we have a 10,000 square foot building. And now we're trying to figure out how to help people beyond our building because not everybody can get to us in Barrington. So that's my brother and me, much younger. So did you know, I think is a really important thing here. So I'm going to spend a couple of slides giving you some statistics that hopefully aren't ones Rob already gave you. So there is a rapid increase in autoimmune diseases going on right now. We know that this is environmentally based. because genetic changes in the human race don't happen this quickly. They just don't. So we know it's environmental. I love this term, modifiable environmental factors. The list of those is low adherence to treatment, smoking, obesity, low levels of vitamin A and D, high intake of salt, and the sedentary lifestyle. What I love about this message is there are still things that we control. We have MS. There's a lot of stuff we can do about it beyond finding a doctor we trust, telling them everything, because that's the only way they can help you. Don't pick and choose what you share. Staying on treatment, and then doing everything else you can think of to change the way you live to, as Rob would say, slow down the progression. The NeuroBalance Center, which is going to be in a lot of the slides we're going to show now, is uniquely accessible. And that was my goal when we finally had our own space after struggling with so many kind of accessible places. The ADA guidelines were developed in 1960. They were last updated in 1990. And in general, they were designed that you could have access with assistance. Our goal, and I'm sure all of your goal, is access independently. We want you to be able to get in the door and have a seat at the table where everybody else is sitting, regardless of where that is. It's a long battle, but I'm waging it anyway. So what you're looking at here is our adaptive golf program. Our occupational therapist teaches our adaptive golf program. All of our therapists are neuro-based, so they treat all neurological conditions. You're also looking at, on the right, our fantastic horseback riding program. We had such a blast all summer, and we got everybody up there. And so a nice person built the ramp. We could get everybody up the ramp and get them onto the horse and ride out in the stable. I also think about, well, let me backtrack just a minute. I want to talk about autoimmune diseases. And the reason I refer to autoimmune a lot instead of MS is they are the third most common chronic disease category in this country. The only two things that beat it are cardiovascular disease and cancer. So MS is autoimmune, and we're in the top 10 most common of more than 80 autoimmune diseases. So what do we need to know? We need to band together. We need to remember that people with MS will benefit from research on any and all autoimmune diseases. And many of the medications out there may have been studied in another condition, autoimmune condition, before they were even used in MS. I think when I think about activity, in terms of what Rob was saying, because I've sort of changed my thinking here because we listened to Rob first. And what I'm thinking about here is activity means not sitting on your couch. It doesn't matter if it's going back and forth to the laundry room to get your laundry. It doesn't matter if you're walking your dog or gardening in your yard. If you can be active and moving around frequently, you are changing your world. So it takes very little to start making a change. But I think what's most important is that list of environmental factors, you need to address more than one. In fact, they're saying you really need to address them all. So this is about nutrition. This is about weight loss. This is about stopping smoking. This is about not drinking too much. This is about everything you can think of and staying on your treatment. I got really excited from any of you who live in the Chicago area. There are so many places now, I think this one is in Northbrook, that have these all-terrain vehicles. So do your version of hiking if you need to. I can walk, but I couldn't walk and hike because the ground is uneven and then I have no equilibrium. So I'd be riding one of those then too. And you can do raised garden beds so you can still get out there and work in your garden. Back to the NeuroBalance Center, and one little tiny plug, because this was the coolest thing that has happened in a while. The lady in the middle of that picture with the blonde hair is Leslie Stahl. She's a reporter on 60 Minutes, if I'm aging myself here. Anyway, she came to our center and toured it and sat down to talk to me. Her husband actually has Parkinson's. He passed away recently. And she said, why don't we have places like this in New York? So it's about the threshold at the front of a building that you need to get over with your walker or your wheelchair. It's about the slope of the parking lot you need to park in and how far away from your destination it is. It's about the spaces between the chairs. It's about where the bathroom is in this facility and what they mean by an accessible bathroom. Even though they met the square footage, it's long and skinny. So if you can get in that door, but now you're facing the toilet, what have we accomplished? You have to pirouette and sit down. I haven't pirouetted in a long time. So it's about all of these things. And I think we have to make some noise. We have to make some noise. People don't know when they're inviting you to a place that isn't accessible to you. And you, to be polite, say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it that day. So if they really want you to participate in this thing that they're about to do, make a suggestion. How about this restaurant instead of that one? How about this space instead of that one? We need to educate as many people as we can. This is my favorite thing. Winston is Armando's favorite horse, and Armando said he was taking him home. So Armando went out to our lift-equipped van. We have 2 that we can pick people up with and take them home, and was determined to take Winston with him, the horse. On your table, you should have handouts. If any of you don't have these handouts, please raise your hand because we have somebody here who will pass them out to you. The first one is a big gray circle. So I want to tell you a little bit. First, I want you to think about 3 things. If you have something you can write on, 3 things that are your favorite thing to do, the most important thing to you, your favorite activity, your favorite pastime, the things that give you peace. Is it reading a book? Is it going for a walk? Is it playing with your grandchild? Don't look at this list yet. Put your 3 favorite things down on paper. Then I want you to take this little circle that has 24 spaces in it. Each of those spaces is 1 hour in your 24-hour span. And I want you to map out your day. So how many hours do you sleep? How long does it take you to get dressed and ready in the morning? How long does food prep take? How long does it take to get to work? Think about all the things in your day, and then you'll understand why you don't get to everything on your list. Because if getting ready used to take you 45 minutes and now it takes you an hour and a half, what are you giving up and not doing? What's not happening? Are you giving up the exercise? Are you giving up prepping your own meals and going to preserved shelf meals? There are so many things that we have to give up when things take us longer to do. And so, since exercise is the place that I know a lot about right now, because I've been watching people do this for all these years, I want you to find 5 or 10 minutes for exercise in a day. Look, I matched Rob. And so the other handout that you have on your table is a 2-sided little exercise routine. And you'll notice on that exercise routine that person is starting out by laying in bed. So when you open your eyes in the morning, okay, you can get 5 to 7 minutes of your exercise requirement done before you walk away from your bed. So as you wake up in the morning and stretch and twist and sit up and do some more twists, and then eventually move yourself to the side of your bed and work your way to standing, guess what you just did? And you got it out of the way right away. So find a place to start. I just wanted to give you something little that you could take home with you. On the back of that sheet is what I call a modified sun salutation, bowing to Mindy and her yoga, where you don't have to get down and get up and get down and get up and get in lunge and get up. So it's a very simple sun salutation. I recommend those as a way to end your morning get up, or before you go to bed, reverse this. Reverse. Do a little sun salutation, crawl into bed, do these other things. So you could take 5 minutes in the morning when you wake up, 5 minutes in the evening before you go to bed, and you've now found a way to fit exercise into your world. So I want to tell you that at the NeuroBalance Center, when I see people every day, they say practical things to me. So for me, how does exercise help you? Exercise helps you by making it easier to pick up a few more plates out of the dishwasher and get them to the cabinet because you'll be stronger. Now, we don't focus as much on aerobic except for our boxing class. That one is very, very aerobic. But we also do seated classes. We work one-on-one. I usually recommend to people, as Rob said, don't do the same thing every day. If you're going to add something besides this wake up and go to bed part, don't do the same thing every day. Box one day, do yoga one day, do Pilates one day, play golf one day, go for a walk, ride your bike. For those of you with poor balance, I found that riding my bike is much easier than walking. I have such better, but you think that you're off balance walking. When you get on your bike, it's going to be worse. That's the key. My brain says, oh, you're seated and your feet are still. Life is good. Let's go bike riding. So I can walk a quarter mile. I can ride 3 miles. And so I love my bike. And there are adaptive bikes if you don't want to be recumbent, so it's easier to get on and off. I also have a place in my garage I can ride right into the garage so that when I get off, I have a wall to hold on to. So I'm not out there floating in the breeze. I think what I wanted to say to you is that I see proof every day that being around other people in the same boat, having providers, trainers, PTs, OTs, speech therapists, massage therapists, chiropractic, functional medicine, functional neurology, and by the way, we also do infusion services, just because I felt people were skipping their infusions because they had no way to get there, so we can use the vans. It's about doing as much in as many areas as you do have control over so that you can slow progression, retrain the brain, regain your strength and coordination. And it's for the practical stuff. It's so that you can fit more things into that 24-hour pie, because we only have so many pieces of the pie. And when we're done, we're cooked. People always say, why didn't you stop before you were exhausted? Because at 5 o'clock or something, I'll just say, done, sit. And I'll say, because I don't know till I'm done. I don't slowly run out of energy. I have energy, no. And so when people say pace yourself, it's just not something for me. The last thing I want to mention to you is about the heat impact on people. I am very heat affected. But I am heat affected from the outside. So if I'm out in the summer and it's very hot outside, that's tough for me. When I exercise in a place that is temperature controlled, and we do keep it a little cooler in the areas that we're exercising, I don't get impacted by the heat. But if you take me outside and it's hot out, I'm done. But I do call those ghost symptoms. And so the right kind of exercise is doing enough to make a difference and not so much that you're on the couch the rest of the day. So the key is to find programs and ideas for exercise that keep you in that sweet spot of doing enough to do better and not so much that you're not going to come back tomorrow. And that's what I've focused on for the last 23 years, is how do we find that sweet spot? Also, give up your heels and wear flats. That's all I have. So I would love to get some questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Why are you only in Barrington? Are you going to open any branches or anything?
I'm in Barrington because it starts with one.
Are you planning on opening more?
Yes, one of the things that's really interesting that has come out of even just meeting Mindy is I'm looking for people to partner with, because I am one human and I made this up. So in terms of how do I be in more places, hard for one person who has MS, and all that stuff, sort of be in more than one place. We did have fitMS class in about 5 places, but my hope is to collaborate with other people who think like me, Mindy, and be able to bring NeuroBalance Center programs and Yoga Moves MS to more communities. And right now I'm focused on how can I meet with people in communities and help them serve people like us better, because I know they're few and far between. I would love to have another one. What I'm hoping is that we can find facilities, whether it be a park district, a YMCA, or a hospital fitness facility, and then I can group my friends together. I have another friend who focuses on Pilates, and if we can band together and create some programs and put them places, I would love to do that. It's going to require all of you guys, because they have to see the demand. When I first started in Barrington and I wanted to raise money, they were telling me, oh, we don't have that many disabled people here. And I was thinking, you just don't see them. You don't see them because there's not enough parking, or the bathrooms are in the basement, or the tables are so close together they can't get to the table. So how do we impact that? How do we change the way communities serve us? How do we make sure they know we're here and are looking for programs? The NeuroBalance Center is online. Feel free to tell anybody about our website and tell someone in your community that you're looking for programs.
Thank you. For those that have problems with their legs and their feet and they really can't go jumping around or running around, what do you tell people to do to get their heart rate up when their legs are not able to be used?
Well, specifically at our center, I have a couple of favorite things. My favorite toy is called the Alter G, and it's a treadmill, but it blows up a balloon around me from my waist down. And so I can take off 10% of my body weight, 80% of my body weight, and I can't fall down. And so I can run and jump for the first time in 20 years. And so you can do that at half your weight. There are ways to find a way to keep moving. The Pilates reformer, you can lay down and do jumping jacks, and then you're safe.
So again, though, my question is more for those that cannot move their legs. Okay.
So there's the Pilates reformer. There are seated classes that we offer. We have seated boxing. You can get your heart rate up without using your legs.
Okay.
We also have ellipticals and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any of that in video that we can look at? Not for right now, but I mean going forward.
Going forward.
Yes.
We actually had a large video library that was out when COVID was at its worst and we were closed, but we are working to figure out how we can make those available in a bigger way.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Is there any way to partner up with, like, say, park districts or gyms or even physical therapy places to get some of the services that you offer?
That's exactly what we're working on right now. We are hoping that we can, but it's one community at a time. So it's one establishment at a time. It's one community at a time, one park district at a time. And so I'm willing to talk to anybody's park district leaders, government leaders, or anything like that. Right now, we're working on a new fine arts facility or performing venue in our community, and I'm trying to get involved in that so we can make sure that's accessible for the people who want to attend, and importantly, for the people who want to act in those plays. So I think it's literally one at a time, and I can't get into other communities if there aren't people in the community that they care about helping us make that step.
I know a lot of MS people, we experience MS hugs. Do you have any type of exercise or video that could help us alleviate that or help us work on that?
I have the MS hug, and I have the hug also around one of my ankles. I always think my shoe is tied too tight, but it just exists there all the time. And so one of the things I say is it doesn't really change the hug long term, but it makes it, you get distracted from it. And so when you're exercising, a lot of times that doesn't impact you because you're concentrating on other things, and the brain can only pay attention to so many things at one time. So partially it's about distraction and then concentration on something else. But no, it's hard to get rid of the hug. You just have to ignore it, right?
Okay, so it comes and goes. It doesn't just like last while you're doing the exercise?
No, I don't notice my MS hug when I'm exercising. And I think it's because I'm so busy concentrating on other things, and why I can do leg lifts with my left and not my right. And so I'm so busy paying attention to what's happening that I don't notice my hug and it doesn't impact my ability to exercise.
Next over here.
Yes. Would you like to hear about a group from the south side of Chicago that's been together for 10 years and has exercised 5 days a week on the Zoom and in person at the health club, aquatic plus physical exercise? Would you like to hear about that for a minute?
Is that in? No, but I think if anybody's from that area, seek out the people at this table. This lady right here, and she may be able to help you find some exercise in that area. What town is it? What town is it?
What town is it?
Orland Park. So the Orland Park area has some exercise that's focused on MS. If you want information, maybe stop over here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, ladies, but we got to just take the questions right now, okay? All right. Do you have a new step?
We have 2 new steps, and one of our new steps, they're very popular, by the way, and one of our new steps actually records and can tell you how you did last time and how you did this time, and has courses that you can walk, and you can even play Pong on it. Remember that computer game? I'm aging myself again, for working on your ankle strength and coordination. So yes, the new steps are very popular. We have 2.
All right, last question online. What exercise can be done in a person's home to increase aerobic capacity, preferably without expensive equipment?
Well, I'm going to go back to a couple of things. A stationary bike is really helpful if you can get on a stationary bike. I have seen lots, if you have space, I have seen lots of used and older new steps for sale, which can help. Also, there are exercise cycles that are just for your arms, and if you do that for a length of time, your aerobic health is being worked on, your heart rate is coming up. And I think it's more about getting your heart rate up, even if you can get it up 10 beats better per minute. If you can maintain that for 10 minutes, let's say, by cycling for a whole 10 minutes straight, you've done some aerobic exercise.
Okay, thank you. Today's sponsors were TG Therapeutics, Biogen, Bristol Myers Squibb, EMD Serono, Horizon, Novartis, Alexion, Genentech, Amneal, and Banner Life Sciences. And again, we want to thank all of them, right? Also, the person who created this whole thing, Mindy. I'm going to say goodbye to you all right? Have a good one. Thank you.